There we are.
Yay!
Yay, we did it.
How are you?
You look beautiful. I look like a hot mess. I don't even have makeup on.
I did it just for the call.
Oh God, now I feel terrible.
I was in workout clothes all day, so I'm like, I have to feel better.
Yeah, I had Marley home sick, so I'm like, whatever, let's just go. Let's just do it.
How's she feeling?
Better, but she still has a little bit of fever and her throat hurts like a lot.
It's always like at the worst time right before we're about to go out of town.
Always, 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 always. But she'll be fine. I know, she's a trooper. So, all right. So you ready?
I'm ready. I'm like excited.
I know. I loved your presentation so much that we need to preserve it on a call.
Awesome.
All right. So, well, I can't do anything. You're the one. Oh, we're live already, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Did you hit live too soon?
I did. Maybe that's why.
So everybody's watching us right now.
It's okay.
This is usually how we do things, right, Danielle? Like on the fly.
Well, I didn't think I could see you unless I pressed live. This is like my second time with a co-host. Maybe that's why.
All right. Well, it's perfectly fine, but we are live, so people are watching us right now, and now everybody knows that I'm not wearing any makeup, and that Danielle is, and that Marley's sick and she's doing better, and we're family, so that's all that matters. It does not matter, but let me just quickly, because I know we have a very long agenda tonight on the call with Danielle's presentation, which I love. So I'll just give you a little bit of background, Diesel Nation. Who, by the way, we're leaving on a cruise on Saturday. Hello. Oh my God, I am so freaking pumped for that. But before we get there, there's still work to be done in March. I know I had a little competition with my personally sponsored coaches as to who would hit Success Club in the first 7 days of the month. You know, instead of waiting for the last 7 days of the month to spring into action to hit Success Club, I challenged them to hit Success Club between March 1st and March 7th. And it's so crazy that our guest speaker of honor tonight, Danielle McKean, has 13 Success Club points right now. She's the leader of my PS coaches. So it's awesome that she's on the call tonight to show us how she does it, right? How she's been able to build this incredible organization, Fit Fanatics, in a very short period of time. And I'll go over her stats. They're mind-blowing. But on a personal level, let me turn off my Facebook. It's making noise. On a personal level, I met Danielle, obviously, through coaching. I sponsored her original coach. So if you guys don't know the story, I sponsored a girl, a nice girl. She was in my challenge group who was one of Danielle's clients because Danielle was a hairdresser before she became a full-time coach. And when the girl sponsored Danielle into the business, I realized quickly that Danielle was going to take off. Like she got to Emerald quickly, she got to Ruby quickly, and I started having conversations with her about her goals and her dreams. And you know, life happens, and that girl ended up canceling out her business. So I actually inherited Danielle. That's when we say, you know, work with your downline. That's like one of the reasons why, because you can have someone in your downline that will really take off in the business like Danielle did. But we have a great relationship. We come from two totally different backgrounds, but we get each other and we push each other. And usually Danielle's that person that I go to share stuff with, and she gets it, she understands. But let me introduce her to you guys, but I'm sure you already know who she is, because she has a great presentation for us tonight. But Danielle is, before all her Beachbody accolades, her most important things in life are her husband Justin and her two beautiful girls, Emmy and Sadie, who I've had the privilege of meeting and spending time with. And of course, God. She is a very, very, very faithful woman. She loves going to church. She loves reading the Bible. She loves sharing her faith with her challengers, which is super cool. But in the business, let's talk in the business. She is a Success Club legend. She is a 2-time elite coach. She's an 8-star diamond in her business center. But catch this. She is a I should say Justin is a 5-star diamond in his business center and also a premier coach. She's a team leader in her center, but an organizational leader in Justin's center. So let's just say rock star status is who we have on our call tonight. The presentation that she's going to be sharing tonight was one that blew me away just about 2 weeks ago when we had a leadership training here in Miami, and Danielle was asked to be one of the keynote speakers. And it was so well put together. It made so much sense. It gave you great takeaways. So if anything you are doing right now, grab a piece of paper and a pen because you are going to want to take notes on this presentation. I had like 2 pages of notes just from listening to this live, and I said we need to share this with our team. So please, please, please make sure that you are taking notes and you're listening carefully. And of course, if you need to see this again, we'll post the link. It'll be on Danielle's YouTube channel. So without further ado, I want to turn this call over to Danielle to share her presentation.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited, a tiny bit nervous, but I think this is something that, needs to be shared with every coach. Excuse me. So, Christina asked me to share this, and I knew that a lot of other diamonds would be getting on from, that training. And I want to speak to those diamonds real quick, that if you're on here, it's the same presentation, but I want you to kind of look at it as, a different point of view or from a different perspective as to how can I help my new coaches implement this information and hold them accountable. So if you're a new coach, this is golden for you. And, when Keyshawn Gray asked me to speak at this training in Miami, I was first really nervous and scared. I didn't sleep. I felt sick to my stomach because I've never done anything like this before. And I thought, what am I going to share that's different that, they haven't heard, because we've all heard the same stuff, but this is really coming from like behind the scenes of Danielle McKean and what has worked for me, and just maybe a little bit different than you've heard it from other coaches. So take it to heart, get your pen and paper out, because I really think this could be some great nuggets for you to help, you move your business forward. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you. So give me 1 second. All right, why is it not going to slideshow? Okay, I think this is good enough. Okay, so we are going to be talking about these 3 topics, and what better way to share with you guys from, things that I have learned in the business and what has worked for me. So when I came up with my topic from that, diamond training, I thought, what am I going to share? And so I'm going to share things that have worked for me. And these 3 topics I'm passionate about. I teach my new coaches to do this from the get-go. And I think it's really propelled my business forward. So we're going to be talking about leveraging the why for recruiting, expanding your network to grow, and motivating your team for success. Okay, so your why is going to be the most powerful recruiting tool. And, I asked a couple of my leaders, what can I share, at this diamond training that's going to be beneficial, for new diamonds, maybe starting out, or seasoned diamonds? What is it that drew you into the business? And they all said that I shared my why with them. I shared with my audience on Facebook, and that's what drew them in. That is what attracted them initially into this business. So you want to share with your team, share with your network. It's going to motivate them to feel comfortable sharing their why. And people are going to start seeing why you're doing this. Not that you're just, drinking Shakeology and doing your fitness program. People are going to see the real reason behind it. And it's going to inspire them to take action in their own life. But you got to get real. You got to get personal. You have to be bold. If we're in this, guys, we are bold enough. We're different than most people, and we have to be okay with that. speak to who you want to attract. So for me, I was a struggling mom. I was a busy working mom, and those are the people that I talk to in my posts. So I want to attract those type of people. Who do you want to attract? Write all the little characteristics of who you want to attract and start slowly putting them in your posts. And then you want to share the potential, the success, and the lifestyle. We need to share, what this can do for somebody's life and how it can alter it and how we're giving somebody a solution. Okay, this is something that I did with a social media boot camp, and I'm gonna continue to do it because it was such a success. I asked everyone in there to share their life's defining moments, but in a video. And they started doing this. There was videos flowing in that group because I wanted them to become storytellers. I wanted them to get out of their comfort zone and just share with the group their story. And your story or your defining moments can be the most amazing times in your life, aha moments, maybe like the best times in your life, or they can be really tragic, crazy things that have happened to you, aha moments. I mean, this is your story. This is you crafting your story by your life's defining moments. And so these videos that these coaches were sharing was bringing me to tears. I think it brought everybody in that group to tears. They got raw, they got vulnerable, and it just let this wall down, and we saw who they were through this video. And I encouraged them to share it on their wall. Of course, not everybody did because it's not easy to do something like that, but a lot of them did, and they tagged me in the comments. And so I encourage you to write down this little assignment, to write down your life's defining moments and really dig deep in your heart as to what has shaped and molded you to become the person that you are today. And so they did this, and it was crazy, the flood of comments and the support and the love that they got from family, from friends, from strangers. And there was just something so unsaid about sharing this with your audience. It creates that relationship and that trust there where if you don't even know the person, they feel like they have a connection with you. And, in this business, people come to you because they know you, they love you, they trust you for what you stand for. So, for example, these are my life's defining moments. When I had my girls, I felt like I was hungry for a change. I didn't know what that change was, but I just knew that I wanted more for them. I wanted to set the example for them. When I lost my father, I felt like, I gained this faith, and most would think like, wow, you gained faith in such a tragic time, but it just showed me like the grace of my family coming together, and a lot of things came into play. I became a stronger person. I valued my health more because he wasn't too into health. He traveled the world and was an entrepreneur and inspired me to take hold of my life and be also an entrepreneur with this business. And then of course, when I found my why was one of the most defining moments, I think, in my life, made me realize that, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I wanted to create this vision that I'm going to take my family to a better place, and we're not going to struggle anymore. We're not going to be in debt. We're not going to, fight about money and not be able to live life. So when I found my why, I said, this is why I'm doing this. And that was a defining moment for me. This picture here was actually right after I completed Insanity, and I felt alive. I felt so good. And I remember vividly, I was telling all my hair clients about Beachbody. But I mean, this is my story. This is my story. My audience, they know who I am, what I stand for. And this is what I value. And in this business, people buy your value. They don't buy what we're doing. They buy that why. And so this really, your story ties into your why. So I want you to write it down and start thinking of doing a video. I really encourage you to share a video on your timeline. And just recently, some of my coaches started doing it. It took them a while, but they just started sharing. And that was courage, that courage that they built up, they finally shared it, and they felt good, and it built confidence. And it just was such a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I just want to share with you some example posts on, sharing your why to recruit, because this is really big here. We have to share our why and share it in many different ways if we want to recruit strong business builders into our business, right? So my defining moments, I've attracted a lot of business builders here from my story. They felt like they knew me. We had this bond, this trust. And they trusted me to go on this journey, and they also wanted that same why for their life. So these are some great examples. I digged up, it took me like hours to find posts just to give you examples on what I shared even before I had success. This is, you know, Becky's story and how she went to this leadership retreat. I was only 6 months into the business here. It says September 22nd. I joined in March. Coming on 3 years, actually. We'll be on the cruise, so we'll be able to celebrate those 3 years. I just thought of that. But this was only 6 months here. I was just sharing other success stories, and I added in that little post, I have many hopes and dreams that I know Beachbody can provide that for my family. This will be me one day. So I was like calling it out that this was going to be me. And then I also shared like a little video of her coaching story. So if you don't have success, if you're still working, you can share your why and tie it into somebody else's success story. I did this a lot even before I had success. And that also brought in strong business builders. So many coaches have said they've been, you know, watching my journey, and they finally took a leap of faith, but it was from sharing all that in the beginning, even before I had success. So you don't have to have success in this business to share. So, you know, of course, I was calling out again. I was 6 months into the business saying, you know, I'm saying this now that I'm going to be there next year. And I love that post because I also think Bonnie Engel, she's mentioned this, to call it out and claim it and share with everyone why you're here, why you're doing this, and show everyone where you're going. And I think that inspires people to take action in their own life. So here's the second picture. That was me working, kind of tying it into what I was doing. I was still doing hair, and I was saying that I was like multitasking, you know, training my coaches and talking to my challengers while doing hair in between clients. I mean, I really in the beginning was working this full force and doing both at the same time. These are some examples of, you know, adding kind of like one of my defining moments and my value into a post. We moved back home when we were trying to find a house, and I was helping my stepfather. He was overweight, on blood pressure medicine, and you know, I said like in this post, I would do anything to get my father back and help him before he passed. And it's just so near and dear to my heart. So I'm sharing what I value here and health, and I think that inspires also more people. But it ties back to those defining moments. It ties back to that why, and that is what people buy into: the lifestyle, the why, the vision that you have here. So here I'm on race day, and I just love that I was kind of calling it out that, you know, one day I'm gonna do a half marathon, and I'm sure a lot of people are probably watching like, yeah, okay, one day, and then guess what? I actually did it. So they're like, oh crap, you know, like she actually did go after it and do it. And then I said, like, today I run for a cause. My sister, she's sick with lupus, and my father, and, you know, God in my family, but I'm just inspiring people with health. And my audience knows this is what I value. Ever since my father passed, I share that with passion and conviction that this is part of my why. This is a great post really tying into the freedom. And after I had success, that, you know, this was such a special day. It was a field day for the first time that Emmy had, my oldest daughter. And, you know, I was there. I didn't have to miss any work, and I didn't have to call out of work or anything like that. I just was able to be present fully in the moment and drop everything I was doing to be there. And I just shared my why in there, that was my #1 goal and why as a coach when I started, was to, you know, have Justin work less and to have both of us be there for our kids. And what if I didn't take that jump? So even if you don't have success and you can't do this type of stuff, share one day that you're gonna do this, and this is what you're working for. Because I guarantee you, every single parent that's working full time would die to not be at their kids' special events like this. And so that is what people buy. This is the lifestyle that people buy. This is what's gonna motivate and inspire other people to join. So we have to share this why. This is so important. And when I started really putting it out there and not being afraid of what people would think or say, something really changed for my business. And I started attracting all these business builders that really had the same vision. And so I love these quotes from Dave Ramsey, EntreLeadership. He just, in that book, it is so amazing. I definitely recommend it. It's about being in the trenches for 30 years as an entrepreneur. And he said, sell what you believe, let what you do serve as proof of belief, and make people feel invested in your purpose instead of merely impressed by your accomplishments. Your vision and network has to hear your vision 21 times before they start to hear. That was really mind-blowing to me, that our network has to hear 21 times why we're doing this before they start to catch on. So 21 times, guys, that's crazy. Think for yourself, like a gut check. Are you sharing the opportunity enough? Are you sharing your why and your vision for this business? Because if you're only sharing it maybe once a month with a huge long post that it's going to take someone 20 minutes to read, I guarantee you they're not hearing it, and they're scrolling over that post, and they're just seeing you as a health and fitness fanatic. And they can't relate to that. They can relate to you being at your kid's school. They can relate to you, getting healthy to be around for your kids. They can relate to you one day coming home. They can relate to all those beautiful whys. So we have to get comfortable with sharing it. You have to reinstate your vision constantly. So as the organization grows and changes, it continuously reflects that vision. I love that last one, because as we grow, as our organization grows, we're bringing new people in. If we're not, constantly reinstating it, then it's going to get fuzzy. It's going to get lost a little bit. And I know Christina and Becky constantly share their vision for the team, their life, the direction of where everything is going. And doesn't that inspire all of us? It inspires all of us to take action in our life. And it makes us feel comfortable that we're on the right train, we're going the right way, and nothing's going to stop this. So you need to constantly be sharing that with your network and your team and keep it alive. Okay, so the next one, I love this. Every business needs an advertising and marketing plan to bring in new revenue. So I want you guys to think of any storefront. I mean, it could be anything from Starbucks to Jamba Juice to a Wendy's. Say they open, right, and they invest all this money to open the store, and it's maybe in somewhat a good shopping plaza, but they don't invest money into this business to advertise it and market it to bring in new customers and referrals and all that great stuff, then their business is really not going to go too far. They might have walk-ins, they might have referrals, but eventually that's going to die down. That's going to dry out, where they're going to need to invest a tiny bit of money and bring in more revenue. So they invest, right, over time, maybe a year, they kind of run out, and they slowly start bringing in more people. They bring in referrals, and then maybe they tell someone that's huge, right, huge, that knows 5 million people, maybe not 5 million people, but you know what I mean, a good amount of people. And the business just has momentum, and the momentum keeps up because they're slowly investing into this business, and that's keeping their business afloat. And eventually, if they want to go big, they're going to go big, and they're going to, break even. They're going to get all their money back that they initially invested. So I want you to think of Beachbody, our little storefront, as maybe a storefront out there in the community. It's the same thing. We need to reinvest into our business. So for any business that's looking to grow, some form of reinvestment is necessary. Create a budget of what you want to spend. So I don't mean big with this, I mean little things. With personal development, that is one of the best investments for expanding your business, because I feel like our business is mainly our brain. Your time, investing in time to figure out how to expand your network, and then a little bit of money. I truly believe, and I'm a firm believer, my father taught me that you have to invest a little money to make money. So we invested in our challenge pack to sign up, right? That was the best investment I think I've ever made from my return. But every business needs a little bit of investment. And You know, when I first started, I invested in a laptop. I put it on a credit card and I made payments on it. That was one of the best investments I made to move my business forward. So create a budget, invest a little bit of your money back into it. It's a write-off and it will do your business a great service. So set goals to expand monthly. So now I want to really shift to expanding your network as far as, you know, bringing in new customers. My goal every month is to bring in at least 100 new customers a month. I know that might sound crazy, right? But at this point, after 3 years, you know, I ran out of my warm market, which is just my close family and friends and referrals. So my goal is to keep it alive, is to constantly be expanding my network and building relationships. And so if you're just starting out, set a goal of 25, maybe to 50 people a month. If you're a seasoned coach, maybe 50 to 100. So I want you to think of the funnel of cold market, this little concept. I kind of want you to like take a picture in your mind and make a photographic memory of this. And if you could understand this concept, you're never going to dry out. We're always going to keep that momentum going. So we have to expand our reach to grow. And that is through all these little platforms on the side here. This is what I use to grow my business. So Facebook groups has been a huge success, and you can get as narrow as you'd like. I'm in hairstylist groups, I'm in runner groups, I'm in faithful groups, and those three, I try not to be in too many groups because it's just too much, but those three are the ones that are on my favorites on Facebook, and I slowly go into them on my power hour, and I am just commenting on threads. I say nothing about Beachbody. I was in a group way before Beachbody when I started, and when I started Beachbody, I did all the wrong things in that group, and I had to leave just to kind of like clear the air in my name, because it's a learning. It's definitely a learning experience, this whole thing, and I learned everything to do and not to do. And so groups have really been a blessing. So write down, things that you're passionate about that can be very like narrow as far as, who would be in those groups. If you notice tons of coaches, you need to get out of that group. Go find a group for maybe cats. Maybe you love your cat. Go find that breed of that type of cat, or you love dogs, the same thing. Or you love collecting cards, or, I don't even know. It can just be so different. Look it up. There is a group for everything. A Facebook-like page. This has completely transformed my business, and we are going to get into that. Instagram, I haven't dug into it too much, but the success that I found from it is that it's just more exposure. So I try to friend everybody or follow everybody on there that's already on my Facebook, and I've gotten tons of, hey, email me or message me on Facebook, and it's the same people that I'm friends with on Facebook. So I know some of you guys are phenomenal at Instagram, and way to go. I think that's awesome. I think you need to really pick one platform that you're passionate about and run with it. Clean eating groups have done wonders to my business, and I'm going to mention that. And then referrals. I always kind of throw in there, hey, if you know anybody that wants to get healthy fit or financially fit, send them my way. Even if they say no to me, I always send in a referral, and I get tons of referrals. So how does this relate to the funnel of cold market? All of these little platforms over here. If you slowly friend people and you're building relationships from a like page or from Facebook groups, right? We're gonna get them on our personal page, but what happens next? We can't be salesy, and I did that. I thought, oh my gosh, I have like 50 new people this month on my personal page. I need to post about my challenge group for 2 weeks straight and every single day. And I'm pretty sure all those people were turned off and they ran the other way. So I'm very mindful that when I'm friending people and I'm building relationships with them, that I am putting good media content on my Facebook page. I am putting my why. I'm sharing my story a lot, my defining moments, and I'm getting people to get to know me a little bit. And then sharing, about health and fitness, but in a very natural way, not salesy. And then slowly I am getting to know them, adding value to their page, showing interest in them. And I make sure I write down everybody's name that I'm adding to my personal page, that I've already somewhat started a conversation with or have built some type of relationship from the other platforms. I'm inviting to free groups and then the opportunity, and they become discount coaches and they become a coach. So it kind of is a funnel that all of these cold market potentials go down. It takes time, but in my business, I have people all different, at all different levels of this funnel. And it keeps my business thriving. It keeps it moist so that I don't ever feel dry. And I'm constantly putting out good, good content, providing free stuff, and inviting to a call to action like the opportunity. And eventually they do come down this funnel, and it has grown my business tremendously, thinking outside the box and getting away from just that personal page and counting on that. We can't just count on a personal page. That's just personal, and if you're just counting on who you have there, eventually it's gonna dry up. So I think this is kind of the stuff that's unsaid as far as what Beachbody teaches, and that's why I'm so passionate about this, because it has worked for me. So we have to get good at expanding our network. If you want to go big, you have to do big, and you have to think big as far as, I need more volume of people in my network. So the more people that start at the top, the more is going to come down the bottom. This like page is something I'm very passionate about because it has worked for me. I'd say at least 50% of my successful points and recruitments come from this page. I just want to first say I am no expert at a like page at all. I just am somebody who has become a student of this. I'm on YouTube, always searching what to do, what not to do. I also am on podcast. It's called The Art of Paid Advertising. So download that podcast and you will learn so much. I'm in my car just listening to a quick 20-minute podcast on the art of paid traffic. And they talk about ads on Facebook. They talk about a like page. They talk about YouTube, Instagram. I mean, I've learned so much. I highly recommend that you do that. And if you don't have a like page, you have to get one up and running. And I kind of like describe this like page as a blog from Beachbody, from Facebook, not Beachbody. But it's easier. They run it for you. They maintain it for you. All you have to do is just put great content, stay consistent. And then here is all my tips. So the first one, 3 topics that add value outside of Beachbody. So when I first started this page, of course, I did everything wrong. I just was selling Shakeology and the fitness programs, and I did it all wrong. I'm like embarrassed if anyone goes back and sees the first, 50 posts. But it's all about learning, and the more you sell yourself and not Beachbody, the more comments, the more likes, the more exposures, the more eyeballs that are gonna be on this page. So think of 3 things that you're passionate about. So for me, I share recipes, I share mom stories. Today I shared a phenomenal story about what us women go through with everyday life and being a mom and juggling everything. And this was a really eye-catching picture. It was a mom just trying to get ready, putting mascara on, and the baby was like hanging from the mom's boob and she was breastfeeding. And it was like a scroll-stopping picture, like, what? I gotta read this post, and I thought it was phenomenal. It was like one of those posts that a lot of people share, but I don't think a lot of people have seen it. And it got like over 2,000 views. So I'm sharing just things that moms can relate to, and those are the people that I want to draw in. So the next one, invest monthly. So not just money, investing money, but also time to learn this platform. I do invest money into this. I invest at least $50 to $100 every month to boost a post, to get more exposure. And that is with maybe free clean eating groups, or that is with a challenge group post or a coach opportunity post. And that is something that I invest back into my business. This is one of my business write-offs that I do every month, and I stay consistent with it. And consistency is key on this page, like key. This is, I think, a page that needs to be the most consistent besides your personal page. There's a science to Google that I heard on one of the trainings, or she was a Beachbody coach. I don't know her name at the top of my head, but she knows even more about like pages than me. She is phenomenal, but she said that Google is the biggest search engine, obviously. But if someone types like a keyword in, and you maybe have that keyword in a post, your page will pop up. So I think it's just as great as a blog, and it's just worked wonders for me. So you can also target your audience if you do boost a post. So I do hairstylists, I do faith, recipes, working moms. I get very specific as like businesses in my area, like Young at Art is like a kid's little museum place. Where else? The library here, Broward County Library. I mean, you can get so specific, and those type of people will see your post. And we don't want everybody seeing our post, right? Because then every single Beachbody coach would see it. So you can get specific, but I've gotten tons of hairstylists from this like page because I target hairstylists. And I think hairstylists are such great coaches once they start coaching, because they have such great networks. So, and I can relate to them. So you want to target who you are. If you're a teacher, put in a teacher, or you want to be more specific that, what type of class you teach, do that. People will see it and it will come up in their newsfeed. You want eye-catching content, like I said, not, Beachbody stock images, not other people's stuff shared. You want pictures of you. When people come to your page, people want to know, like, this is Danielle McKean. She's doing selfies, she's, doing videos if that's her thing, and create a style for your page. I do reshare videos if they're phenomenal and they also get tons of views, but I don't reshare just anybody's stuff. You got to be persistent with reaching out to likes and comments. And I message those people with kind of like the same message. So I'm just copy and pasting, but I send out at least 25 or more messages when I can a day, just saying, thank you for showing support on my like page. And, I'm here to help you with your health and fitness goals. I'd love to connect with you. Short and sweet. It wasn't those exact words, but it's something that I send to everybody just so I could have them in my inbox, in my like page, and I can always go back and follow up with them or friend them if they comment and we start to build a relationship. So engagement matters on this page. If someone does comment or like, you have to comment or like back. I know we're all busy and I definitely miss a lot of that, but I try to go back on or during my power hour, a time that I have, and I make sure that I showing interest in every single post or comment, because that actually bumps that page up in the news feed, in other people's news feed. There's a lot of hustle behind the scenes of this. It's not like I just pay to advertise it and I have so many people coming to me. That is so far from the truth. I work my butt off behind the scenes of this like page with, building relationships, building my contact list of people that I friended, and it's just a lot of hustle. That's the perfect word for this like page. And it's just trial and error. What works for me is maybe not going to work for you. I've just shared all the tips that, has worked and how it's gotten to what it is. I'm coming on like almost 4,000 likes. This picture was taken a little while ago, but it's almost there. So, I've messed up, I've made mistakes, but it's working for me. And I've just become a student of this page. So just like anything, right? You have to become a student of it. And it doesn't matter how many resources you have with a like page, it matters how resourceful you are. So this has worked so many wonders for my business, clean eating groups, and I'm teaching all my brand new coaches to do this from the start. Of course, I want them to get success starters from the get-go, right? 3 months consecutively, they get a free summit ticket. But if they are not really getting Success Club and it's not coming to them, and they're just having a hard time, I encourage them to do a clean eating group, because they're going to be expanding their network. And as a new coach, imagine you do this from the get-go. You expand your network. So, say you're already in this 2 years, you don't feel like your network has completely dried up. You've been expanding it every single month by fun groups. And tons of my coaches have done this, and their business is booming. So just a couple tips that I do. I either pay to advertise this, or I put it on my personal page, depending on how many new potentials I have on that page for the month. And these are just some tips. So as soon as I get them in the group, I run it just like a challenge group, and I'm becoming really creative. So my next clean eating group is going to be just a faithful one, just sharing like little inspiration posts. And it's, of course, a small window of people that are gonna come in, but you've gotta be creative with these groups. So like I said, I treat it like a regular challenge group. I have everyone introduce themselves with a picture and just a little bit about themselves. I ask everyone to invite their family and friends, whoever wants to do the free group with them. And I give them a post in the group to kind of share. You know, of course, every group is different. Maybe I'll forget some things, but I have in my head like a guideline that I go through and the steps. And it's really a simple group. I don't like to overcomplicate it because these people are really just starting out. But I've had a lot of success with other participants adding their network. And I don't know, one of my first groups I ever did, someone added like 100 people, and that helped grow my network. I didn't even have to invest anything into that at all. And I friended most of them, and I've got so many successful points from that one free group. So it works. It just, you gotta stay consistent with it. Some groups were a fail and some were a complete success. It's all about who you get in the group and who you connect with and who knows the right people, right? So you can give prizes. This builds relationships. This is Shakeology exposure. I'm not selling Shakeology in there. Maybe some months I will do like a sampler pack that they could buy as just an option, but I don't make it mandatory. And then of course I always throw some type of motivation with personal development. And then if this group is going great, I think why not carry it on for 30 days? Because in 30 days, if someone is super motivated, they love the little camaraderie of the group, you never know if you could build an awesome coach in there, or even someone that's gonna come back to later on and they remember that free group that you did for them. At the end of the group, I always do a call to action. So it plants a seed, either about the challenge group coming up or the coaching opportunity, and I give a little incentive. So it can be a Shakeology shaker cup and maybe 3 samples to join the next group. So these free groups have just, like I said, done wonders for my business. And it's just a great way to expand your network and think outside that box. We have to bring more people into this business. And I've been starting to do this like every other month, and I'm considering doing every single month again, just because of the volume that it really brings in. And when you stay consistent with it, you're just gonna be amazed at, you know, who joins you and who sees your consistency and finally joins after all this time because it's free. They see you as someone that truly cares to help people. Okay, so the third one is motivating your team to action. I love this topic, and it took me a while to kind of create my own system. I followed a lot of what Christina did, and it's taken time, but it has been a success. So my first little nugget is you have to know everybody's why and goals, right? So even if you have one coach or you have a huge team, I think we have to connect with our coaches on a very personal level and not look at them like another number. What are their whys? What are their goals? And then we have to hold them accountable to them. And I remember a while ago, I think it was like a year ago, Kim Carver came down for the last diamond training before the one we just had. And I felt like I had a little slump. You know, I got all these amazing diamonds or coaches to diamond, and a lot of them were dropping. And he said something to me, and it stuck with me, that, you know, you have to hold your coaches accountable and ask them permission to do that. So ever since I had that conversation with him, and, you know, I get out their why and I build that connection and relationship, and I really truly know what they want out of this business, and I ask them to hold them accountable. So we're like locking arms and I'm running with them. Then, you know, I feel it works. There's just a little connection there, and it works. And, you know, of course, not all the time it's going to work. You're going to have coaches that want this, but the ones that have a strong why, and I know it, and the ones that say, yes, you can hold me accountable, and they're showing up every day, those are the ones that have become rock stars. They're the ones who have all this success, and they're just on this amazing, you know, journey to accomplish their why and their vision. So this is something awesome. If you don't know your coach's why and you haven't gotten on that personal level with them, you have to just put down that wall and just get real on a friend level. Put the business second, but put your relationship first. The second one is have a system in place for them to plug into. And I have a PS group, and it's done wonders for my business. So if you don't have a personally sponsored group with just your coaches, even if it's 1, 2, I don't know, 20 coaches you have, you need your own group where you can connect with them and get really personal. I share videos on days where I'm just not feeling great to days where I'm super motivational, and they know this is their group to come and confine in. And I share what's going on. I have a team calendar that we follow and go off of. And they know when there is a coaching opportunity, they know when trainings are, and this is their place to come. So create a PS group, create a system in place for them to plug into. So the system could be your group, where they could come into, and you have some type of organization for them. I think that's so important. So some organization and some system for them. In the beginning, I didn't have a system in place for them, but as I evolved into more of a business builder, I created one. And they also do the same for their coaches, and it's become duplicatable. So recognition, this is something I do for every tiny little thing. Whether someone sponsors a new coach, I give them a shout out. Whether someone gets Success Club for the first time, I do a shout out for everything. This is one of our vital behaviors now, so I take it really seriously. Every month I do a Success Club banner, and I put it as our cover photo in my PS page, and they know their picture is gonna be up there for getting Success Club. I do a Rockstar Rewards program where if they get Success Club before the 15th of the month, for 2 months in a row, I send out a gift for them. I'm just recognizing everything. And I know for me, when I started, I wanted to be recognized, and it felt so stinking good since I wasn't really recognized as a hairstylist. Messenger threads have really helped as far as the accountability part for my coaches. I have a messenger thread for brand new coaches, for Emerald coaches, and all my leaders. And then I also have threads for, who is in a challenge group. So all my challengers. And every day when I sit down to plug in and do my power hour, that's one of the first things I do is I'm checking in with all these threads to get everyone ready for the day, seeing where everyone's health and fitness is, where their business is, how can I help them today, what their goals are. So the messenger thread was something I really just started implementing, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago, and it's been awesome to motivate everybody. Health and fitness journey, I know that if a coach is not their business is not on, it's more than likely because their health and fitness is not on. And I know personally, if mine isn't, then my business isn't. And that is one of the 3 vital behaviors, being proof of the products. And really, if you feel good, don't you feel like sharing? I know for me personally, if I feel good, then I want to share with the entire world and scream it from the rooftop. So I make sure that they're committed to a program. I make sure they're eating healthy and drinking Shakeology. If not, I get on the phone and I'm like, well, let's recommit. What program do you want to do? And I'll do it with you. I'll motivate you every night. Just some way to help them stay on their health and fitness journey. I do a PS call every week on Monday nights. Tonight I'm not doing it because of this awesome call, but I just started this too the beginning of the year, and it's really, I think, helped motivate my team. It shows me who's willing, who I am going to invest the time into, who's showing up. And if I see the same faces on the call every time, I know that I'm going to schedule calls with them. I know I'm going to message them, and I'm going to, really put my effort into those willing. And those willing people are the ones that are growing. So I really love this new thing that I've implemented. New coach calls weekly. This also has been a success as far as being a proactive coach, getting out there and showing people that, I'm really helping people. I'm not sitting behind a computer and messaging all my coaches. I'm getting on the phone with all my new coaches every single week until they get Success Club, until they launch their new challenge group, until they get their first win. This has really, really been awesome. I have a new coach She's only been a coach for two and a half months now, and she's gotten over Success Club 10 every single month. She won her free summit ticket, and she's going to be a diamond on Thursday, this Thursday, because I've just been every step of the way helping her, holding her hand, being a cheerleader, and she's just like one of those people that just get it. But these calls have really helped her to kind of just keep her going and say what next and thank you. And it's just been really cool. So I highly recommend getting on the phone with your coaches, whether they're new or not. I think they need you more than just a messenger thread and more than just a text message. It just really shows you care and it builds that relationship. Getting on the phone or face-to-face with them, like I said, it just takes it to a whole different level, and I think motivates them. And if your coaches have joined you on this journey, it's because they have a relationship with you. So they want to continue that relationship. And that is showing that you care and being a present coach. So I love these quotes. Slow down and put some heart into it. You don't want employees, you want team members. And the process of adding team members requires you slow down and take more time. When you work with fired up, talented people who love what they do, you have more fun than gathering a bunch of turkeys together to whip some work out of them. Anyways, that is amazing. That's from Dave Ramsey, and just amazing tips from him. And then up here, another amazing one, how to motivate your team, and kind of behind it, the key to this strategy is that it involves speaking to the part of the brain that controls emotion and behavior. When you speak about purpose, when you speak in a manner that makes someone feel as if they're part of something bigger, you can trigger that section of a person's mind that controls action. So when I'm invested in them, getting to know them, their goals, their vision, their why, building that relationship, I'm talking about something that's bigger as far as purpose, and that controls action in somebody. So that's how I'm motivating them, is I'm talking about the bigger picture, not too far ahead of them, but I'm talking about the right now, the here and now, as to why you want this business to work and how can I help you. Let's talk about your goals. So if you believe it, you will find a way to achieve it. It's up to you and how hard you are willing to work. And really my motto is go all in with this business. If I would have been lukewarm with recruiting, sharing my why, right? Expanding my network and motivating my team and creating a system and, trial and error, I don't think I would be where I am right now. It was just going all in, not caring what anyone thought, just putting my defining moments out there, my story, sharing my vision in every little thing that I do. People know why I'm in this. I might be, the crazy why person, but guess what? That is why people join us. They're not buying into this because of a challenge pack. If they're joining you on the opportunity, it's because they're buying the lifestyle. They're buying why you are doing that. And so, you just got to go all in these three things. And they've really transformed my business and really just grown my business to where it is now. So I hope all of that has helped you guys and been beneficial to you like it has to me.
Danielle, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I, again, am blown away by this presentation. It is so detailed, so well thought out, that I just wanted to personally thank you. I don't know if I got the opportunity to tell you this. I told you a lot of things that day, but thank you for taking so much time to put so much thought, heart, time, energy into this presentation. So what I would do, guys that are listening to this call, how I would take this, there was 3 sections to this presentation, and now you have the recording, right? It's the same link that we used to get on the call. I would take it and digest it in sections, because there's 3 very big components to this presentation. So take that time to sit and digest, especially that part of the funnel of the customer. That was such key and vital information to continue growing your market, that everybody needs to sit there and digest it and start implementing action steps to use that funnel. I know I'm one that has stopped using the free groups. And sometimes I wonder, like, man, you know, when 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when I was starting my business, I was doing these free groups, and it was much easier, the harvesting, I guess you can say, of all these customers, because I constantly had people moving through my free groups and doing those things. And when I stopped doing it, you know, because the team got big and I started just doing the paid challenge pack groups, and realized after Danielle spoke 2 weeks ago, man, that's the missing link in my business. So I'm about to launch my first clean eating group in a very long time. I think it's like a year since I did the last one. I hope you guys follow suit. I hope you really pay attention to what she says. And you know, you could take anything she said about the like page, and maybe like page is not your thing right now. Maybe it's Instagram. So learn Instagram and learn that social media platform. So okay, I'm gonna stop talking. It's already 10 o'clock. But Danielle, thank you. I really, really, really appreciate you taking the time to do this call to teach us again, because this was invaluable. And I hope you guys, you know, take action, right? Don't be a gatherer of information. We say that all the time, and really take action. Separate this presentation into 3 sections and just go out and start implementing. All right, it is March 7th. A bunch of us are heading on a cruise on Saturday. I cannot wait. But the month is young. There is plenty of opportunity to hit your diamond goals. You know, we're in the middle of the push. Actually, not the middle of the push. We're at the end of the push. And we extended it 1 week, which is very exciting, because I know some people just needed that extra time to hit their diamond or star diamond goals. So get that done, right? It's a decision that you make. It's a decision to hit Success Hub. It's a decision to advance in rank. Now's your opportunity to go out there and make that a reality. If you're going on the cruise, I can't wait to see you Saturday. If you're not, then watch all the excitement on Facebook and get ready for Punta Cana, because it's seriously, Danielle, right? You not blink and the trips are there. Like, we blink and the cruise is here. We blink and Summit's there. We blink and Leadership's there. We blink and it's January again. So you know, just take it in and realize that you will be there next year. And if you haven't already, get on the wait list, because I promise you, after next week, you're going to be kicking yourself in the tush for not having signed up earlier. Am I right?
Yes.
All right, yes. All right, guys, have a great night. Danielle, if you have any other parting words, we can go ahead and cut the broadcast.
That's great.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great night. Bye.